Well, love is in the air, as a popular English song once said, and I think it truly holds true with this new film that's all set for release. Fitur is the name of the movie. Welcome back to Newsx, both of you. Thanks for being back. And is love in the air? Truly, are you feeling it around you? You know, when you're going promoting the film all around through various cities in the country.
Well, the air in Delhi is a lot less chilly than the last time we met, which is a good thing, and we're in the comfort of the studio. But yeah, I think we can feel that there's a bit of an upswing, as there tends to be towards the end of your promotional campaign.
Absolutely. Are you feeling the love as well? Because the fact is, you know, with promotions, there's a lot more interactions as well. You know, you're interacting with the media, but you're also interacting with the fans a lot. And you're gauging their mood from the first time your trailer hits to, you know, when the release hits.
I definitely think so. I mean, there seems to be quite a lot of positivity and excitement and appreciation for especially the songs in the film. And for me, I think for any love story to work, half the battle is kind of won when the music is accepted. So that's a good sign.
But for the title now, Fitur, you know, it's a nice name. It's a soothing word, actually. What does Fitur really mean to you? What do you think of when you hear Fitur?
All I can think of is the release date, to be honest with you. But during the filming of it meant obsession, and that's what my character was. He was obsessed and in love. So that's actually what it meant to me. And it had to mean a lot to me to play that role, actually.
Absolutely. For you, Katrina?
I think it means two things. When we think about Fitur in relation to love, I think then it usually means to me a love story which has not reached its conclusion, you know, whether in the positive or the negative. I think a person tends to be a little bit more obsessive when they have not, when they do not have something in their grasp or in their hand. So I think that's one way of seeing it. Another way of seeing it also is the passion or obsession one may have for other things apart from just love, whether it's the love for your work or the love for food or the love for a hobby or the love for, in a lot of people's cases, cricket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you're quite a cricket buff.
Cricket buff, food, the good things
I think all the above.
Absolutely. But the fact is, you know, it's an intense love story, but it's a complex love story as well. You know, there are a lot of layers, and obviously to your characters, but also to the story and the narrative that's at least coming out in the promos. You know, it's not like that conventional love story.
No, it isn't.
I think
Do you feel that as well? That there's a lot of complexities and a lot of layers that we haven't seen just yet?
Yeah, for sure, and primarily because, as most people might know, is Great Expectations is a book on three very complex characters, and almost you can say in a way kind of the study of human complexities. It's a very, of course, one of the most famous novels in literature, and it's always been one which is widely discussed. Like even if you are to go on the internet and read the book discussions and the book, you know, the forums that there are about the book Great Expectations, there's endless discussions on why the boy is so obsessed, why the girl is so aloof and so cold, why does the mother become so bitter, and you know, it's basically certain inherent qualities that are very common in human beings, and a very complex story woven around that.
And it's exploring love through these three prisms, right? Through these, through the eyes of these three characters and how they perceive it and feel it in different ways. That's why I think it appeals to so many people, and these varied experiences that these.
Are you quite interested to know the feedback of probably Charles Dickens fans as well? You know, people who've read the novel actually, and who are his fans, who've read other works of Dickens as well, and see how they compare, you know, the film to the novel. Are you quite intrigued to know that? Because there have been several works of Shakespeare as well, which have been adapted in Bollywood. Some who like it, some who don't. You know.
I think there's always going to be that thing about some who like it and some who don't. You just hope that more like it than don't. Of course, I think that plays on in the back of your mind when you're ever adapting something that's that revered. So yeah, it is something that I hope we please more than we don't.
Okay. Well, we've got to know Aditya and Katrina through the course of the promotion. We met them a couple of times. You've obviously known Katrina as well before you actually came on to do the film. So what were your preconceptions before coming onto set? You know, the first day of work when you guys are meeting for the first time. What were the preconceptions of how she would be on set? And I'm going to ask her how she thought of you.
Oh, my preconceptions about how she... I didn't actually, to be honest with you, I didn't give it much thought about what it would be like to encounter what her energy would be like on set. I just went in there feeling like we had spent quite a bit of time in Kashmir before first day of shoot, and we had discussed the scene and what we were going to do, because we were attempting to shoot quite an intense scene on the first day itself. So we needed to all be quite on the same page when we landed up there. And we had no time to break the ice or any such luxury. So I don't remember having any such idea in my mind about her on the first day.
What about for you? Was there any... you'd met him before. You'd given an interview to him, as we've all seen,
we also have a lot of common friends, so you know we had met each other socially quite a few times, so it's new, more or less. Again, I think I think I knew he was a chilled out guy, a nice person, so there were no concerns or worries or fears at the back of my head, but I think also with this film, and because we started with such a tough scene. I think both of us were just really trying to find our own footing with our performances. And honestly, I mean, I've always believed it's the job of the director to create the chemistry. You know, I think that if both actors know what they're doing, because very rarely do two characters and especially a man and a woman, play similar people. So if each actor gets their traits and their character personalities and their character's definition proper and gets that right, then the director can mold the scene the way he wants to. You know? So I think we were just trying to...
But no crazy surprises. She wasn't like throwing hot coffee at my face.
My shoes and throwing them at his head. Hey,
all was well.
Coffee lao.
But another striking aspect, of course, of the first look and the promos which we've seen is your red hair. Now, we do know that it didn't cost 55 lakhs to get that.
Thank God for that.
As the story suggested. But, you know, what was your first reaction when it finally happened and you went on set in your...
First person I met, first response I got was, so I was walking in such a way that the sun was behind me, backlit, and my Abhishek, my director, was on the far end of the where we were shooting, and when I reached there, he was kind of standing like that, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "You know, in the sun with color like red, which you don't realize it is when light comes through it, it just transforms, like it becomes." It's quite unusual. So we really had fun with it. But that doesn't happen all the time, which we learned. If it's lit in a certain way, sometimes you hardly notice it. But there are some moments, you know,
it's just like
where it's really red. I thought it was a lot of fun.
She was enjoying herself.
I was enjoying it,
Absolutely.
But gave the character an edge as well.
Yeah,
that it needed.
It does,
it's unique, and it's fiery, and it's slightly unusual.
It's kind of intimidating.
Well, we're going to switch our focus quickly. We've got a new segment on the show where we're going to get some fan questions in, which we're going to play out on our screens for you guys.
Okay. Hi Aditya, will you ever play the role of a villain in a film?
Oh, in fact, I would love to play a villain. I think it would be so much fun to play a bad guy. It gives you so much more freedom and to express yourself in such a different way that I'm actually waiting for someone to offer me a good villain's role. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Okay, so that's a message to all the producers over there.
Absolutely.
Do you feel he would make a good villain?
I think he'd make a great villain.
Seriously, I'm saying.
Absolutely, I think I'd make a great villain. We'd make great villains. We could have like that war which happens in the Green Goblin, and you know,
Yeah, well, there were shades in Race when one didn't know, you know, whether the character was negative or positive or...
Yeah, but that's one of those very subtle, where you go through the whole film portraying, you know, a lovely female character and very, you know, docile, and then in the end you realize, oh, but I'm talking about from first scene, straight, tough, sleeves rolled up, buzzed hair, tough role. I'd love to do that.
Hi Aditya, we heard that you kept Katrina's photo inside your bedroom because she's playing your muse, so how true is that rumor?
Well, that easel didn't fit in my bedroom. No, I had this easel put up in my house with all these paints, and I had Tabu's and her photo put up there so I could kind of practice. I didn't do that much practice, and I didn't need to eventually, so it wasn't used in the film. So it was there for a few days. I tried every once in a while because I knew that these are the two faces that if called upon I might have to recreate. But luckily enough, I wasn't asked to.
Hi Katrina, how important are awards for you?
Awards are very important when your name is being called and you're receiving them, and when you're not receiving them, they're not important at all.
So Aditya, how would you balance censorship with freedom of expression?
Well, that's a tricky balance. Censorship with freedom of expression, both are necessary in the right amount. Well, I think you should have, what is it, when you kind of demarcate it with the age groups, what is that called?
Certification.
That's called certification. I think that's a very effective way of making sure that people of the right ages are watching the right amount of things. And if you're over a certain age, we should be allow and give our public the benefit of the doubt and make them feel like they're intelligent enough to decide what they want to watch and let them watch that. Because if you start kind of going too far beyond and start getting too stringent with these things, then it starts curbing creativity, and then we're not pushing the boundaries with film, because film at the end of the day is a mirror to society, and it needs to be able to reflect what the reality of the situation is as well.
Absolutely, that's a great answer. And that's a great message for the censor board as well. In fact, I think there is a new push by the government of India now with creating this new committee with Shyam Benegal at the helm to actually encourage certification over censorship.
Yeah.
Because the censor board is there to certify, not just to censor.
Absolutely.